Let me tell you about Hyejin. Hyejin's a product manager in Busan, South Korea. Now, she spoke English, she still does, speaks English very clearly, but her team kept cutting her off in meetings. One day she told me, Dennis, I feel invisible, like nobody takes me seriously. So we worked on two things: presence, that's how you carry yourself, and idioms. Her first big breakthrough, she said in a meeting, let's make sure we're on the same page before we move on. That got people's attention. Everyone paused and nodded. Oh, hey, that's a new Hyejin. 2 weeks later, her manager said, you've really stepped up to the plate lately. She had heard that one before, so she smiled and said, thanks. I've been brushing up on a few things. She really learned how to use those idioms and sprinkle them in her language to sound less robotic. So what made the difference? It wasn't just that she learned some new words. She learned idioms that sound like leadership. So let's try to break a few of them down for you tonight. All right. So why do idioms impress people so much? Because it shows that you're not just translating English, you're living in it. Idioms are the phrases that native speakers use to express subtle meaning or emotion and personality. And when you use them well, people will think, wow, this person really knows their stuff. So why do we use idioms? Idioms are a natural part of English. If you only speak in direct, literal sentences, your English may sound stiff or even robotic. But if you sprinkle in idioms, your speech sounds more human, more relaxed, more fluent. But be careful. Idioms must be used correctly and in the right context. If you used too many idioms or use them in the wrong way, it can become confusing. So the key is learning a few very well and then using them naturally. So let's talk about these 5 idioms. And we'll start with number 1. Raise the bar. Raise the bar. What the heck does that mean? It means to set a higher standard or set your expectations a little bit higher. So where does it come from? It comes from sports, as many idioms do. Sports like the high jump and pole vault, where a bar is literally raised to increase the challenge. So it's evolved into a metaphor for increasing expectations or improving quality in any setting. Why do we use it in work, or how can we use it in work? You might use it in a performance review. Maybe you'll say, the campaign really raised the bar for our marketing team. It set a new standard for creativity and results. And now everyone's aiming higher for the next quarter, aiming higher, right? Raise the bar. Next up, we have a blessing in disguise. We actually talked about this a few weeks ago on one of the Mastery Minute segments. So you can go back and watch that. You might be able to see it. I don't remember which episode it was. So what is a blessing in disguise? Well, it is something that seems bad at first, but turns out to be good later on. The situation evolves. It's a little different. Okay? And therefore we get something beneficial out of it. The idiom has been around at least since the 18th century, and I believe it was a priest who actually used this in a letter that referred to something bad happening, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. It reflects a deep truth about how setbacks can sometimes lead to better outcomes. And it's especially popular in business and or personal growth stories. Personal growth, when you learn something after a setback. So I'm not talking about a blessing that has a costume on. The disguise is it looks negative, but it's actually positive. When might we use this? After you lose a major client, you might say in a team meeting, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise because it gave us time to focus on improving our other partnerships and systems. Yeah, always look for the blessing in disguise. Here's another one we've used in the past for a Mastery Minute. On the same page. It means that you agree or you have a shared understanding of something. It comes, we think it comes from music, but any world of documents and reading where being on the same page literally means referring to the same information. So you want to make sure when you're reading a document with your team, are we on the same page talking about it? Or if you're playing music and you're on the same page of sheet music playing the same music. Otherwise, it sounds like noise. So this is especially helpful when aligning your goals, being on the same page. So in a team huddle before a presentation, you might say, let's have a quick check-in to make sure we're all on the same page before we head into the client meeting. Yeah, make sure your team's all on the same page. We got to move it along here. All right, hit the ground running. This one means to begin something quickly and with energy, moving into battle like a soldier. The idiom actually comes from World War II era, or before perhaps. It referred to soldiers or paratroopers landing and moving into action right away. These days, in a modern workplace, it shows that you have confidence and speed when you want to begin something with energy. And you might say during an onboarding recap, a manager might say something like, she hit the ground running on her first day. She solved 2 client issues and redesigned the dashboard by the afternoon. That's hitting the ground running. It shows confidence and readiness in a professional setting. Okay, so how do we practice? I forgot, step up to the plate. Step up to the plate. Now, this one comes from baseball. As you imagine, when the hitter is going to start, he's going to step up to the plate. All right? And what it means is you're accepting responsibility for something, handling challenges like a professional. You stepped up to the plate. It refers to taking the initiative. You might say, for example, Bob really stepped up to the plate when the client called with the major issues and problems, something like that. All right. Now, how do we practice these idioms? Because you don't want to just learn them here and listen to them. You want to practice them so you can make them part of your vocabulary. So I would say start by choosing one new idiom every day. And then after you choose it, say it out loud. It's very important to speak out loud. Say it out loud a few times. Use it. Write it down. Use it in a real or an imaginary conversation. Like we talked about talking to yourself last time. That's a good time to use those new idioms. Try it in a meeting or a message or a casual chat. These idioms are like little tools. When you use them with confidence and the right timing, they don't just decorate your language, they sharpen it. And one further tip. Don't try to memorize long lists of idioms. Just focus on a few that fit your personality and your job, and practice them with a tutor like me, or practice them with your colleagues. Practice them by yourself. Each well-placed idiom can make your English really stand out every time. Okay, so your challenge for today, pick one idiom from today's episode and use it this week. Use it at work, in an email, or even just talking to yourself while doing the dishes. And hey, if you've got a question about what we covered today, now's the time to drop it in the chat, and I'll answer a few right after the Mastery Minute. And if you found this helpful, please subscribe and hit the like button. Share it with a friend who's learning English or who wants to improve their communication skills. And you can read the full article and sign up for the newsletter at allaboutenglishmastery.com. The link's in the description.